What do you get when you mix two friends, a podcast, and minimal focus or agenda?
You get a premium blend of vivacious banter across copious realms of sport, pop culture, and other.
Join us as we explore this week's topics. Who knows what we'll get into next? The answer is TBD.
Well, good afternoon, Seattle. My name is Ian Turner, and you are listening to the To Be Determined podcast, the only podcast in the universe that covers all things Seattle sports and the sports world at large, and mixes it with nerd pop culture and finds out the intersection in between. I am, of course, one of your lovely hosts, the man who never skips leg day, all mass, all ass, all multi-class. My name's Ian Turner, and I would like to introduce my coworker, this is Aaron.
My dog took 3 massive shits today. So, yes, I don't work out. Ian works out. We are doing this podcast. We don't really know what the fuck we're doing, and that is why we are TBD. TBD. Let's talk about who we are, Ian. What do you do? Not so much your job, but what do you do in your life? What are these people that need?
Right. So, as Aaron says, I'm a person that requires introduction because you might not know anything about me.
If you didn't get enough introduction on Ian.
Yes. So, things I'm into,
Teams, go.
My favorite teams are the Seattle Seahawks, the New York Yankees, the Portland Trail Blazers, the Oregon Ducks. Am I missing anything?
You say New York Giants? I don't think you said
New York Giants. But yeah, if we're going to do multiple teams in each league. Yeah, and then Giants, and then I'm sure I'm forgetting other things.
Well, then they're not favorites.
Yeah. So those are my favorite teams. I'm really into sports. I'm a software engineer by trade. I have to say that. It's part of who I am. And I also...
You're programmed to say that.
I'm also massively into nerd culture, and so I'm your favorite rapper's favorite rapper when it comes to Star Wars. I know more about Star Wars than you. I'm just gonna say it. I was reading the books before you were born, even if you were born in the 40s, before Star Wars came out. I was reading the Star Wars books, so I'm quite partial to everything that's coming out. All the news.
As a layman, how are you reading the Star Wars books before the Star Wars movies came out?
Because it was a long time ago, and all this.
So you're from a galaxy far, far away.
We'll leave that to a later date to decide.
Okay.
So, Aaron, why don't you take this time to introduce yourself?
What do I like and who do I like?
Yeah, what is your teams?
So I'm born and raised 206, unlike my cohort over here, Ian Turner, you were born in Manhattan, raised in Jersey.
I was born in Secaucus, which is right across. It's in New Jersey.
Okay. So you're not from New York.
I've never been from New York, and I've never said
that. But your mom and dad are from New York.
My mom and dad are from New Jersey.
Okay, so no one's from New York, and this is still about Aaron. Yeah, I'm born and raised 206. Grew up in Magnolia, then Bainbridge, where Ian moved to as a young lad. And that is where we became friends, doing a big project that involved cardboard boxes and making a boombox out of that and sitting inside. And us doing that project created a friendship that had brought us here. And here we are doing a podcast where we're going to talk about, sports and nerd culture. The sports that I'm going to bring in, definitely the Sounders. I have a podcast, Sounders Scuttlebutt, that I do. I love the Lakers. That is just because my family's from Minnesota. That's watching the Sonics and the Lakers play each other throughout the 90s. I was on who is that team? My mom knew who they were, and she told me. And then there's a weird affinity. And then when you lose that other team, you definitely start following the Lakers. That is for me. But I've loved the Lakers since the late 90s. So a lot of you Seattleites might hate me for that.
You might hate me too because I'm a Blazers fan. So
Oh, yeah, but that's what makes this fun. So we and if we get the Sonics back, you know it. I'm gonna be all in for it. And NHL, I'm gonna be all in for it. But mainly Lakers. I like the Vikings, but my first teams are gonna be the Sounders, Seahawks, Lakers, Mariners. I do like the Mariners, even though we're 17 years fucking dealing with bullshit.
wow, it's 17 years.
Hey, but we did win a opening series
Against the Indians, who are a good team.
Damn right they are. So, and maybe a later date we'll talk about that. Maybe we'll pepper that in a little bit here. Who knows? But mainly, we're just here to talk about what Ian and Aaron want to talk about. And if you want to listen in, here you are.
That's right, Aaron. So how this show is going to go is we're going to break it up into 2 parts. So all you
Two universes.
Exactly. And all you universe fans of one or the other can join us for one part of our episode or both or the other part.
No, you're staying the whole time.
Yeah, we just hope that you have a good time with us. So what we're going to start with is we're going to start with our sports universe. We're going to do some recaps. Some stuff has gone down this last couple of months.
Yeah, the VMAC.
206 and now somewhat spread apart, our little family. And then after that, we're going to talk a little bit about some nerd pop culture. And then some episodes, we might talk about how they intersect. If one of us has a particular topic we want to talk about.
Where universes collide.
Exactly. Or if one universe needs to be highlighted, we're going to bring that up. So we hope you enjoy it. So as we were saying, there has been some upheave in the Great Northwest. Aaron, as a resident Seahawks fan, you actually played football in high school. I got into it as a fan.
You're right. I did have a jersey in high school.
He tackled Taylor Mays.
I did.
All you resident 206ers may know who that is. He played like 1 year for the Bengals.
And he played a number of years for the 49ers as well.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
and
you were this close to.
And he was a high round. I'm not going to say which round. I don't know that much. I should because I quote unquote tackled him when he played for O'Day.
He was a top 10 round.
Yeah, he was a top 10 round. Better than either of us can say. No, I did tackle Taylor Mays when I played for the Bainbridge Spartans. We were at O'Day, and basically what it was his big thighs running into my face mask, and he tripped over me, and he was down by contact. So stats to me.
I'm gonna get you that what are they called? Like the planners that people fill out, the nerds who don't drink beer at the games and they actually fill out all the things.
Oh,
they do that for football?
Games?
Do they? Kind of really. It'd be really hard.
That'd be incredibly hard. That'd be incredibly hard. No, but if you just did one for me and was just like, tackle, I'd be happy with that. I'd frame that, Ian. I would appreciate that. My birthday's November 9th.
Yes. Okay, so Aaron, I'm going to do a quick overview of some of the things that happened, and I'm going to pose some questions to you. I'm going to start with some of the big losses that the Seahawks have faced this offseason. Mm-hmm. So, short list right here.
Because there's more losses than we're going to mention right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to bring up the things that we're concerned about as Hawk fans.
So, Aaron, the big one Aaron's talking about is Richard Sherman, but I am just going to mention him here in this list just to generally talk about the state of the team. So, off the cuff, we've got Michael Bennett, we've got Sheldon Richardson, Jimmy Graham, Paul Richardson, Richard Sherman, obviously, and then
Thomas Rawls.
Thomas
Rawls
is now,
just happened.
He's with the Jets. Cam Chancellor might not come back. Cliff Averill might not come back. And I think that's it. So
enough to talk about. I can say real quick that Cliff and Cam are still on the cliff, if you will. They're still in the Seahawks. They're not departed, but they might.
I'm quite concerned with Cam specifically because
we have to pay his whole year.
Yeah,
now. So he's probably going to be a Seahawk because we're paying for it regardless if he's a Seahawk or not. So he's probably going to be on the team.
Yeah, keep him on the team.
But he's got a retirement guarantee.
I'm worried about him as a person. Like he, our friend, always brings up the fact that there's this one interview that Cam does where he's like, "What would you have done if you hadn't joined the NFL?" He's like, "Oh, I probably would have been in the Marines." He's from a good old family, just a good guy, you know. And you know, they always say there's no loyalty in sports, and so with Cam, just the way the guy plays, he leads with his head on freaking everything. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want to see like a Nazir what's the dude's name? Ryan Shazier from the Steelers who
Yeah.
got paralyzed
Yeah.
partially.
Yeah.
Imagine, I don't want to see that happen to him.
Of course, you don't want to see that happen to anybody.
Right.
But, I mean, it's the nature of the game.
Right.
And also the nature of the game is it's a business. And players stay on your team, and then they leave.
I agree. That's
so
true.
they're on your team for a couple years. And the fact of the matter is we've lost a lot of players. And what are the biggest voids that we need to talk about right now? Let's talk about Michael Bennett's void. He played defensive end and defensive tackle. Didn't really have what's your position? I'm D-line. Mm-hmm. And he was all over the place. Mm-hmm. And with his short little shoulder pads and his tenacious D. I literally just thought of that, and that was funny. But like he's a badass. Yeah. He was a badass, and he's a badass off the field when it comes to the community. And we're not going to get into the bullshit.
Aaron met him once.
Yeah, I did meet him once. Work thing. He's a beautiful human being. I know that. He's a really nice guy. I met his family, and all the shit that's happening on the off the field shit currently, I don't want to talk about. He's not on our team anymore. Let the NFL, let Schefter talk about that. Let Ian Rappaport talk about that. But in terms of missing from the Seahawks, what does Michael Bennett's void mean to us right now, Ian?
So, I think that
Well, who do we still got?
Well, who do we still have? That's a great question. I think it's really time for the young guys to step up. I think Frank Clark, although not the same position, has really been probably our best draft pick in the last 3 years. I would really like to see him. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a show me year for him, if I'm not mistaken, right? It's the last year of his rookie contract.
Yep.
He should show out. You know, him and Jaron Reed. I think Jaron Reed's a close second. Alabama product, right there in the middle.
Yeah, he had a good year.
Yeah, you know, speaking of Bennett being gone, like I'm more upset about Sheldon Richardson being gone.
I am too.
He was younger. He showed great promise. He had to show us. He had a show me year with us last year, and we didn't sign him. So that does bum me out. But to answer your question, Nas Jones, Jaron Reed, Malik McDowell, who acts like a dumbass on.
Well, we don't even know that. We know how he acted last summer, and then we know little snidbits of what he's done. He's not involved with the Seahawks organization whatsoever. Pete Carroll has gone on the record saying, we don't know.
Yeah, and so I'm looking forward to him to show. I'm looking forward to him showing us. But here's the thing about the Seahawks.
Pause for a second. I'm looking forward to Malik McDowell maybe showing up for OTAs. Look, and if he does, then you prove your fucking worth, is my opinion on that. And if you don't, and that one day, good riddance. Get rid of him.
I think that's a little too harsh.
I don't care.
We're a 7-9 team riddled with injuries. I don't think that he's a franchise saver. I think it's not a zero-sum game. If he shows up and he plays really well and he can add to the team, fine.
Yeah, if he shows up and plays really well. But I'm saying you need someone on your team that won't jump on an ATV and be a dumbass and then afterwards get arrested in Atlanta, Georgia. Like, this guy's ridiculous right now. Like and that I don't want to.
Well, here's what needs to happen. Then Pete Carroll really needs to go back to his roots of what made him a great coach to begin with. What made him sit Matt Flynn and start Russell Wilson. He would never have done that to Richard Sherman. Like a lot of people got seniority. I'm not saying there's a player in our reserves that was better than Richard, but I don't believe or Michael Bennett. I don't think or Jimmy Graham. Mm-hmm. I don't think he ever would have done that. He needs to get back to hardcore competition. And so let the dude show up. If he doesn't, fine.
And that's what I guess I mean. If he shows up, let's see if he shows up to OTAs. And then battle. If he battles, keep him on the team. If he's a prima donna, it's like you haven't proven anything. And you got to pass into the next level, and you ruined it. And then you ruined it by doing some bullshit stuff off the side. And it's like we shouldn't give someone a job.
Like the kid. First of all, he's 21 years old. And
bullshit.
Oh, you were the same when you were 21?
I'm not.
And
I'm
you
not,
were giving him
hey,
$20
I'm not
million.
in the NFL. I'm not in the NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, anything. I'm saying you're given an opportunity and you do that right away. That shows.
It wasn't right away. First of all,
it was in the off season after he got drafted.
It was
in the off season after he got drafted before he played a snap in the NFL. In my opinion,
you're talking about the ATV or the arrest?
I'm talking about the ATV. That's a dumb mistake. And then when you're trying to road of recovery, road to create a relationship. You're drafted by a team. How are you not involved? When you want to be in the locker room, when you want to be at practice, even though you can't play, these are your bros. These are your teammates. You're drafted by this team. You have a contract. Why are you not involved at all? 0%. That is what I do not like. I don't like him.
Here's the thing.
But if he shows me otherwise and wants to have a good work ethic, then get him on the team.
Yeah, let's be a meritocracy about it. Like, let the dude show up. If he.
I agree with that.
But let's move on. So, I think the consensus here is with Michael and Sheldon and potentially Cliff gone, it's going to be up to the young guys to step up.
Well, let's say Cliff is still on the team, right? But we don't know what his playing status is. Yeah. But yes, the young guys. So Frank,
Nas, Jaron.
And Nas is coming off a season-ending injury.
Yeah, and that dude picked off Aaron Rodgers, and we would have made the playoffs if that would have started. Mm-hmm. It would have counted. Excuse me. You know who else we lost? Just this is not the D line, but we didn't add it on this list. Deshaun Shedd, and Jeremy Lane, I think.
Yeah, Jeremy Lane. Fuck it.
That guy is. Anyway,
he's kind of a loose cannon, but he's talented, and he got an interception and broke everything that he owns in his body. So like
that guy lost all his arms and all his legs, and never got back together again.
His spleen.
That guy turned into all the King's horses and all the King's men at once.
No, and Jeremy Lane's done a lot for the Seahawks in a lot of ways, but I'm not really sad to see
that dude was
go.
number one on every. He was literally he had the number one, and he was always like the last cut in the preseason. So he finally broke through, and then that was a couple years ago. Okay. Anyway, let's switch gears. Let's switch gears.
Okay,
let's switch gears and let's talk about the offensive guys we lost. So specifically Jimmy Graham and Paul Richardson. So Jimmy Graham got signed as a free agent with the Green Bay Packers.
Fair enough.
It's going to be pretty badass for them. I would, if I were a Packers fan, I would trade Jordy Nelson for Jimmy Graham.
Okay. I hear that. I think so we're not Packers fans, so we don't talk about how great they're going to be with him, but I am friends with a Packer fan, and he's super stoked. And just like, weren't we super stoked when we got him? I mean, it was a shiny new toy, and we knew exactly what he's capable of, and I feel like we could have done better with him. However,
we undervalued Max Unger.
With our scheme. Oh, we definitely did. But still, with our scheme that we tried to stick with, which was a run game, when we didn't have one, it ruined his Seahawk potential. He still
was a Pro Bowl tight end.
He's a Hall of Famer. I know he had 10 touchdowns or more last season. I don't have that off the top of my head, but I mean, like, he had most touchdowns of any receiver on our team.
Rapid fire question: in a vacuum, Jimmy Graham, Rob Gronkowski.
I farted once. What?
In a vacuum, Jimmy Graham or Rob Gronkowski?
Rob.
Really?
100%.
You don't think he's a product of Tom Brady at all?
No. Have you watched him play?
Have I watched Rob Gronkowski play?
I'm asking.
No.
Okay.
Who is that?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Rob fucking Gronkowski.
It was a rapid fire question.
Oh, because he blocks better.
Okay, I'll give you that.
He blocks better, and that's a huge deal when you're a lineman that can catch.
Yeah,
these aren't receive. Hines Ward is a receiver that can block. Doug Baldwin's a receiver that can block. Jimmy Graham is a receiver that cannot block, that is built like a lineman. That is athletic.
Yeah,
he cannot block.
I always
and that's
wanted
okay.
him to.
That's okay. He was fantastic with the New Orleans Saints. All pro.
Yeah.
And that was that situation. He comes into a situation.
He led the league for tight ends with touchdowns this year, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Yeah. Is just like he had a shit ton of touchdowns, but we started actually. This is his third year with us. Granted, half his second season was cut
the fact
short.
that he came back from that injury is amazing.
Yeah, it's 2018, man. I don't care what injury you have, unless your head is chopped off, you're coming back within a year. It just seems Richard Sherman's good to go for OTAs.
The third never did.
Yeah, but he's not an athlete.
Okay. So let's talk about Paul Richardson. So I feel like Paul really came along this year as a deep threat and a really good receiver. Because he really didn't show up. Because I think he had a major injury. I think his second year.
No, he tore an ACL.
Yeah,
or let's just say CL because I don't want to put myself on record.
Yeah. So It's frustrating because I feel like we got him for his rookie contract and he finally showed out his last year. And
I think that's all it is. I think we knew what his potential was, and then last year he's like, yeah, I'm that good. I'm that motherfucking good.
Well, he was our highest draft pick that year.
Yeah, and then he got hurt.
Yeah,
and then we came back, and then he got hurt.
Dude, that dude broke his thumb. Remember that?
Yeah,
broke his thumb.
I don't think it was
pass.
Was it his thumb? Either way, it was his fucking hand.
I was at the Detroit game.
Came back in, game-winning touchdown.
Yeah, I thought he dropped that. I was like,
that was his thumb. Yeah. It wasn't the ball.
Pretty
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
So,
and yeah, I'm going to miss him.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about what we need to do with the offense or who needs to step up, or do you want to move on to this?
No, let's keep talking about it for a second.
Okay.
For real quick. So we just recapped a little bit of, like, we missed... We don't have Michael Bennett, and we need Nas to show up. We need Frank to show up. Keep showing up. I think Frank's on an uptick that I'm really happy with. Malik,
I like his mean streak. It's never gotten to the point where it's like in the news or too hard to handle. He's a good teammate, but he's got that kind of, to use Michael Bennett's term, he's kind of got that dog in him.
He's a polished Bruce Irvin.
Oh, I miss Bruce Irvin.
I do too. But he's a polished one, right?
Yeah, he's better.
Wouldn't you say that?
Way better.
Yeah, Cliff, I think, is going to come back. He's had surgery. He's on recovery. And I'm not entirely worried about our defensive line because that's pretty much what we draft. We draft defensive line, so we're going to see a new player this offseason. So this conversation will go into...
The one thing I want to say, but like just to that last point you just made, if we're building a defense around a nucleus of Bobby Wagner and Earl Thomas and all these young guys, we're fine.
Yeah.
I think Shaq Griffin had a good second year. We just need another. We'll probably get young corners if we can, bolster up.
We already have. We have Shaq. So
I'm saying we're going to need another one.
Yeah.
Because we got rid of Lane.
Yeah.
So, but if we can either rush quarterback or lock down in the secondary, we'll be fine. Especially if we make a paradigm shift towards our offense to hold on to the ball.
Yeah. And I'm not too worried about Cam because whether he's on the team or not, we're going to pay for him. And if he's on the team, that's great. And if he doesn't get time, we got McDougal. And then what was it?
About him.
There's someone with the double T, Tredrick Richardson.
Tremaine Johnson. No, I don't know.
It's a safety that we have.
I know what you're talking about.
I sound like a tard right now. But John Snyder is saying that this guy is a special teams star for us, and so was Cam Chancellor in his first year and didn't get any playing time. So we got players, is what John Snyder said. Is like don't rest.
Yeah.
Don't get mad at us. Don't mutiny right now. We know what we're doing, and I still have faith. It's just it's hard when you see 2010 and 11 draft come in, and then we have all pros, and then we've just dwindled down from there. But that's just the nature of the business.
He's been a little
removed
from the college game, and so it's natural to suspect that he won't hit just grand slams every time. So I want to kind of pull an audible here, Aaron. I want to talk about Richard Sherman.
Nice words.
I want to talk about Richard Sherman, but I think it makes more sense to talk about Richard Sherman after we talk about where do we go from here.
And we got to go from here on the offense right now with Jimmy Graham departure and P. Rich, which you just brought up, and our running game. That's important. And Russell, what do we build around our offensive line? And like you said, we still have Earl Thomas and Bobby Wagner. So as a whole, the Seahawks. We'll start with Russell. What does Russell need?
Okay, so I think that Russell Wilson is I'm a victim of this as well. He's one of the most underrated quarterbacks in NFL history. The guy across from me right here will, from the onset, seem like he'll trade the craziest things for Russell Wilson after a draft in fantasy, and you feel like he took advantage of him, and then he ends up that the dude's getting like 30 points a game in fantasy,
or 45.
Football. And that'll be fun when fantasy comes back around. We'll talk about that. But
maybe we'll do our own TBD fantasy,
where you could draft Darth Vader
or Luke Skywalker, or Indy.
So I think Russell is in the middle of a contract, so we don't have to worry about that. But we need to facilitate his ability to do what he does, and so
can I talk?
Yeah, he's a great pocket passer, Aaron. What do you think about how we can help Russell Wilson be the best Russell Wilson that he can be?
Well, definitely the offensive line. I mean, that's for sure.
What do you think about the moves we've made in the middle of last season, but also in the offseason?
So let me give you my Lingliness. That is my last name. So Russell Wilson needs an offensive line. Obviously, you're going to have 5 guys in front of you and a tight end or 2. But he needs an offensive line that knows how to communicate, and that is an experienced offensive line. He has only had in the last 2 seasons rookies and sophomores. And those have been interchanging, and they haven't been able to work together. That offensive line, more than anything in any sport that I'm aware of, and I am a fan of sports, the offensive line. Well, one, football is the most.
Yeah, I get it.
Inch, literally, it's every inch, right? But it comes down to like each offensive lineman has a position, and they have a task, and they have a role per play, not per offensive series. Not per half. This is your job on this play. You have to roll out. You have to engage and go to second level. You have to. It's incredible. And then you can micromanage the things that they have to do inside of that, which is this is a defensive tackle that knows how to get under you. So you need to get on top of him, get him really down there, or you need to get really underneath him in this tactic, or if he's going to swim you, and you got to know what is. That's impressive stuff to know as a lineman. You're not going to get that out of a freshman or sophomore lineman.
So let me ask you this: Tom Cable was just let go.
Thank God.
We haven't. Well, I mean, he had done some good things with garbage before.
When?
Well, we had some good.
Who did we get? Who did we get first, Marshawn or Tom Cable?
Oh, I don't even know. Actually,
Marshawn.
Fair enough. So then, that aside. You're talking about the chemistry and being able to grow together. Mm-hmm. What else needs to be done between now and the start of next season, whether it's draft, free agency, or stay the course?
Okay, so we got Fluker and we already have Brown. Fluker is a manimal.
Seems that way. Still not understand
visually.
Why are we his third team? I still don't understand.
Yeah, and that's probably what we're going to find out. But that's what the Seahawks do, I guess. If it's a mental or personality thing, Pete Carroll can handle it, I guess. But
yeah.
I'm excited that we did a free agency signing on the offensive line
For Fluker? Well, we did
Yeah.
Dwayne Brown as well.
Yeah, no, that wasn't free agency. That was in the middle of the season.
Oh, that was a trade. You're right.
Yeah. So we have Brown, who immediately showed that he was the best lineman we have. And that comes with the only
Britt.
Dwayne Brown is better than Justin Britt.
Yeah, Dwayne Brown's like 32.
Justin Britt is the greatest third-year lineman we have, and everyone else was under 3 years, dude.
Fair enough,
so that is my point. There
wasn't
wasn't experience on our offensive line to know how to deal with a quarterback. Granted, most offensive lines don't know how to deal with a quarterback like Russell Wilson. Who can? I mean,
it's
you're
not
supposed
there,
to do.
It's not like saying they don't know how to. He's not like he runs and scrambles immediately. He scrambles because the pocket breaks down.
But I disagree a little bit because that is his game. He wants to stay in the pocket. He really does. But once he does spin out, which is most often,
so you're saying
compared to
before the pocket breaks.
Compared to pocket quarterbacks, Russell Wilson will break out more often than it breaks because he can see that wide open flank on the left or that wide open flank on the right. And he's like, I can get another 4 or 5 seconds. And that's huge for a quarterback if I just spin out. Not that I'm getting pressure immediately, but I see the pressure coming up the middle because he just stunted. Mm-hmm. He just stunted over that defensive tackle. I'm going to roll out right where he came from. The linemen haven't reacted yet. He already did because Russell Wilson is experienced and he's smart. He's smarter than the linemen. And he's smarter than every lineman we have had for the past 4 fucking years. We got Dwayne Brown, who is a very smart left tackle, and we saw it shore up a little bit compared to fuck. So, like, we got the fact that we have Fluker, who has years under his belt, whatever may be going on up in the helmet. Pete Carroll maybe can fix that if there is anything. We don't know. You're a New York Giant fan.
Oh, we had the worst offensive line in the league last year.
I know. And they got worse. So
no, we got Nate Solder from the Patriots.
Well, let's talk about the New York Giants.
That's all I know about him. Oh, and then
so
fucking Odell.
To recap, I think Russell Wilson's going to have a great year because I think we added a player in the midseason and added a Fluker, and then we have still Justin Britt, and we have players still on our team that have played with Russell Wilson in practice, and it's another year under their belt. I think that experience is going to shore up. And then, we got rid of Thomas Rawls, but he had his chance, and I love the kid.
No, goodbye.
Love that guy.
Bye.
I love it, but
Chris
goodbye.
Carson.
Yeah, Chris Carson is the real deal right now.
I want to switch to the skill positions, and I want to ask you. So offensive line is obviously incredibly important. Actually, let me get your one sentence answer just to recap.
It's gonna be hard.
my original question.
Gonna do it.
Stay the course, draft, free agency between now and the start of the season.
For what?
What are our priorities for the offensive line?
For the offensive line?
One sentence. You just talked for like 5 minutes.
Stay the course.
Stay the course. Okay.
You're probably maybe give me one draft pick because we're probably going to have 7 or 8 draft picks. Fourth
round draft pick. Okay.
And I'm not and don't count me on the draft picks that we currently have because the way the Seahawks go, we're going to have 3 more draft picks than we currently have right now.
Well, that's why we traded Michael Bennett for that tasty 5th round draft pick.
We're going to get a 3rd or 4th round lineman for sure, but I hope we go defense first and 2nd and 3rd.
Coming up next episode, we're going to ask Marcus Johnson while he's in studio, why the fuck did we trade for him?
Yeah, Marcus Johnson's coming over.
Who the fuck are you?
By the way, that's who we got for Michael Bennett.
In addition to that tasty draft pick.
And some silly late draft picks.
So let's talk about the skill positions. For our laymen in the audience who may not know the intricacies of the offensive line, let me ask you this. We're talking about how Jimmy Graham can't block. We're talking about what we want to do for Russell Wilson. So we're almost saying 2 different things. Do we want to block? Do we want to start focusing on the run game, or do we want to start focusing on more of a pocket passing offense? So
definitely run game, and Pete Carroll's already saying that. He's been saying that. He said that before he came here. You get
some
a
of
quarterback.
His actions wouldn't dictate that. No work on the offensive line. No.
That's what's been our Seattleite Seahawk fan argument for about a year and a half. It's not so much that he's going in another direction. It's that you're not doing what you say you want to do. And that a lot of that falls on Tom Cable. Because Pete Carroll's a defensive head coach, right? So Tom Cable was the 2nd head coach. He's the assistant head coach of the team and the lineman coach. So that falls completely on him why he's not on the team anymore and why Pete Carroll is saying we're going back to running the fucking football.
Well, we just got an offensive coordinator who was the quarterback's coach for
the
Indianapolis Colts, who was definitely a throwing offense. So that'll be interesting.
It'll definitely be interesting. And the way we're resetting our offense right now, looking at it, getting rid of a wide receiver. Not getting rid of like we threw him out, but not retaining. Retaining.
We got Marcus Johnson.
Yes, yeah. He had 5 catches, and one of them resulted in a fumble.
It's only 5 more catches that I got in my first year of the NFL.
And that's true. I mean, that means you're 4 catches away from being in the NFL.
You only completed the 40 in 4 seconds, more than me too.
But yeah, I mean, we're gonna be running the football. That's what's going to happen, and that's not going to change with Pete Carroll, regardless of the ebb and flows that happen under his reign with the running the football. I mean, Marshawn's gone. It's been turbulent since he's been gone. It's clear as day.
You didn't
we don't have
fond memories of the Eddie Lacy era.
I have fond memories of behind the line of scrimmage and be like, yeah. Nothing past the line of scrimmage do I have fond memories of. And God bless the guy. I mean, he tried his heart out, but his heart, was too.
If you paid me $50,000 to lose 12 pounds, I would go down to 1 pound. And I would disintegrate, and I would turn into dust.
Benjamin
and I would just be a pile of money.
Ian Button.
So.
No. So, like, the offensive line is a huge deal. The running back situation it's Chris Carson right now. I don't need us to draft anybody.
Yeah, I want Saquon Barkley.
And you've been always, since we've known each other, someone that's just like, any great athlete can be a running back.
Yeah, I feel that way.
Expound.
I'm sorry?
Expound on it. You can explain it better than I. You're sitting right there.
Well, from what I understand about the transition from college to the NFL, is the most transferable position is the running back. You can see examples of that with Todd Gurley, Ezekiel Elliott. So I think, obviously, the offensive line is going to be the biggest factor in whether or not you're successful. You can, again, see that in Ezekiel Elliott. And then, if you look at Todd Gurley, had a great rookie season because there was no pressure and they were losing, and he would do really well in garbage time. I think he won Rookie of the Year. Mm-hmm. But then, when Sean McVay came, they revamped the shit out of their offensive line, and then he came back and won Comeback Player of the Year or whatever he did. Mm-hmm. So I would agree that it is, if you're a good athlete with a good head on your shoulders, my favorite running back in the league is by far Le'Veon Bell. And that's because of his ability to have the patience in the pocket and let the holes develop.
And well, I know what you mean. By pocket, you meant just behind a lineman.
Behind the line,
yeah,
yes.
not really because he's extended out or left. And man, his patience is, and they say it in every game you watch, is spectacular.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we will create a running back, and I think we already have one.
Grace
he just
Carson had a great motor.
And
He reminded me of David Johnson.
No, yes, David Johnson, 100%, and we just didn't see enough of possibly receiving. David Johnson, pretty much a wide receiver talent that is a running back body that could also run the fucking football, which I'm jealous of. And anyway, so and then we still got Earl and Bobby, and that's going to shore up our defense. I'm pretty solid still, and regardless of the departures that are so obvious. I'm not that worried because we are a team that has still built things out of nothing, and they come out of where we don't even know as fans.
And Bobby Wagner, if he hadn't gotten hurt, would have been the Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh,
absolutely.
Oh, 100%. Everyone agrees
Everyone
with that.
knew
That's not even...
People, we had a couple of injuries and we fell off.
Mm-hmm.
We rebuilt, and that's why I'm the most excited. We're in a rebuilding year when, if you buy into power rankings, we were after the Dwayne Brown trade and we beat the Eagles, we were the quote unquote number one team.
Yeah.
And I'm not worried. This is a lot easier of a rebuild than it was in 2011.
I'd be surprised if we don't make the playoffs.
Oh, I think it's going to be hard. I think that we're the worst team in our division.
And let's talk about that real quick. So we basically talked about the Seahawks in the offseason, which we can think of in the last 35 minutes. Let's talk about the landscape in 30 seconds and what it would take the Seahawks to get to. Well, one, it's probably the wild card game, right? Because the Rams look terrifying.
I think the Rams. Yes, I would.
Their defense looks fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it's amazing. And oh my god,
Aaron Donald,
and Dominic Sue, Marcus Peters, and Aqib Talib. They did lose Alec Ogletree to the New York Giants. So I think they're going to obviously win the division. And I hate that. I hate that so much. But I will say this: it's got a 25% chance of blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
And so
it does.
Yeah, I was hoping they'd get Odell Beckham Jr., but apparently today they got Brandon Cooks from the Patriots. So
that makes me think that is huge.
That makes me think that the Patriots are going to get Odell Beckham Jr.
That means the Patriots are going to make it to the Super Bowl. You realize that, right?
Yeah.
They go to the Super Bowl every time they drop one of their best players.
Yeah, no, it's so true. Deion Lewis will become the new Ian Turner will become
that's the Ian you're talking to.
Yeah, Chris Hogan will. Oh God, lacrosse players play receiver for that team.
No, that's incredible.
I think they'll win the division. I think it's crazy. I hated the 49ers when it was Jim Harbaugh and Colin Kaepernick. Mm-hmm. I kind of like this team. I've always rooted for Jimmy Garoppolo, Kyle Shanahan, John
You've always rooted for Jimmy Garoppolo?
I remember when I was at your house and we watched the Chiefs just demolish the Patriots in Monday Night Football, and Jimmy went in. It was his first game. He came from Northern Illinois, the school Tony Romo went to, and I was like, oh, I like that kid. He was second round pick. I was like, he's the new Tom Brady. Blah blah blah. And I fucking hate Tom Brady, so I wanted him to do well. And so it's cool. It's a cool story. It's a cool turnout for him that after being basically given the Aaron Rodgers treatment and being stuck behind a Hall of Fame quarterback, he gets to go to another franchise, a marquee team. So I'm happy for him, and he looks like he's a badass. So I think they will. I think
in the few games he does look like a badass. No,
I think not gonna lie. I'll think they're second in our division, and then I think we will fight with. And then they have a really good young defense, and then goddamn Richard Sherman's on the team.
Yeah. and then we'll dedicate a whole segment to that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that next time.
That's too much to talk about.
And then I think we're going to fight with the Cardinals. Cardinals were last in the division last year, but we forget
fight at the bottom of the pile.
We forget that David Johnson was hurt all year, and they had a roundtable quarterback. They got Sam Bradford, who will probably get hurt, but they'll probably
Larry Fitzgerald's coming back.
I wanted him. I was hoping, how a lot of players, i.e. Richard Sherman, will finish out the twilight of their career on another team in their division.
Yeah, except Richard Sherman's 6 years younger than Fitzgerald.
I think Richard Sherman's about to find out that he's a good player, but Earl Thomas had that dude's back. That guy was a proc, Earl Thomas.
Earl Thomas had 10 dudes' backs.
Yeah, Earl Thomas is probably top 3 safeties of all time.
And that's why I'm not worried about our defense because we're going to keep Earl Thomas, and he is phenomenal.
Yeah. So
anyway, there's that, and so you think it's going to be Rams and 49ers battling, and we might nip a little bit.
No, I think it's going to be Rams, 49ers, and us battling the Cardinals. But
I feel like both we're going to be nipping at them.
We might be the best division in the NFC.
Oh, we're right now the best division in the NFC.
I don't know, man. With the South's really good.
On paper, we're the best, I think.
So
look at the talent that's in the NFC West right now. We already talked about.
So let's rank the NFC South.
Okay.
So the Rams versus the first team. What do you think? The Saints? Who's better?
Who's their quarterback?
Drew Brees.
I know he's. There's going to be a moment. There's going to be a moment.
Blew up.
Drew Brees is like 40, bro. Like, he was really good this year, but there's got to be a moment.
Tom Brady is 42.
Tom Brady's the greatest of all time. If Drew Brees is right up there. I'm just expecting a drop off. I need to see it to believe it. That's
it's going to be tough, is what I'm
just
saying.
Need to see it.
We might be the best. We might.
Defensively, we are the scariest division in football in the last fucking. Give me a decade.
I'll give it a 10% chance of 3 NFC West teams make the playoffs. So I'm giving us a 10% chance to make the playoffs.
That'd be incredibly difficult.
Happens all the time.
Three teams in the same.
Oh yeah, happens all the time. Happens all the time.
Okay.
So it's just 2 teams.
So 2 teams make wild card.
Yeah, that happened 2 years ago with the NFC South, or maybe it happened.
That's not all the time. All the time is last year.
And then it happened with the Giants. It happened with the NFC East a couple of years ago, and the Giants won the Super Bowl. Happens all the time.
Okay. Well, Seahawks are going to win.
It's only one more.
Seahawks are going to win the Super Bowl next year, Ian, and that is all I have to say about that.
They're going to beat the London Silly Nannies.
The London Silly Nannies. All right. Well, let's stop talking about football for a second, and let's do a power run through on just the Seattle sports landscape real quick. So we possibly get an NHL team, which is pretty much that's going to happen. 33,000 season ticket holders. Deposits for a potential draw. Obviously, we're not going to get an arena. That's 33,000. Super excited about NHL. Are you excited, yay or nay?
I love going to Seattle Thunderbirds games. Mm-hmm. My favorite favorite instance of watching sports ever was watching a hockey game, even though I don't follow hockey. It was watching the gold medal game in the 2010 Winter Olympics between the United States and Canada. No. No, in 2010, it was men's. Speaking of which, though, I was in Salt Lake City this year, and I watched the women's game, and that game was amazing.
Dude.
And we won that game. The game I'm talking about, we lost.
Hockey is so fun.
It is. It's like putting jetpacks on soccer players. Giving them weapons and armor. I'm all about that.
This is where the universes cross.
That's why I started playing lacrosse.
Yeah. No. Okay. No. Here. So yeah. So we could get the NHL, which leads to the NBA, which there's not a human being that it. Well, correct. That's stupid.
David Stern.
I was gonna say there's not a human being in Seattle that wouldn't want them to be the Seahawks or the Sonics, and then I realized I've yet to meet a Seattleite working when I've been downtown and be like, hey, where are you from? They're like, Arkansas or Mumbai.
No, they all say San Francisco.
Or San Francisco.
Yeah.
Like, they're just no one's from here anymore. And it really bugs
gentrification.
Me. Yeah. Which actually, real quick, NHL, the Las Vegas Golden Knights.
They made the playoffs.
Yeah, they did make the playoffs. And here's what they're dealing with real quick. This is really important. And something we need to keep in mind, considering our demographic is completely a different landscape than it was a few years ago in Seattle, which was more local. Say 10 years ago, now more transient, coming from other places.
Are you saying you worry about immigrants?
Immigrants from other states with cities, yes, I am.
This is not a political show. I was being facetious.
So the Las Vegas Golden Knights, they have been dealing with a lot of their fan base, quote unquote fan base, is not actually fans of the Golden Knights. It's because they have such a high turnover in their city of people that are visiting from other cities that are fans, so they plan their trip around, the Montreal whatever Canadians are playing. Let's go to Las Vegas for a weekend or a Wednesday, because every day is a weekend. That is their problem. all their season ticket holders are reselling their tickets. They're not actually at the arena.
Yeah, but we won't worry about that. Seattle has amazing fans.
Yes, we do. However, it is a huge thing right now to buy tickets and resell them with brokers, like companies that are like strictly that's what they do. And we are in a city that's blowing up so fast that we actually have to be aware of it. I'm still on you. I agree with you. Our fandom is so solid in this city, and it has been for almost every sport. Still showing up and selling out Safeco on opening day. Haven't been to a playoff game in 17 years. However, when a new opportunity, a business opportunity arises that's never been here, NHL, got to worry about that as an organization and get off on the right foot. That's all I'm worried about. And I want to say that on my NHL topic.
Yeah, I think we can leave it there. I think it's going to be an interesting opportunity. I'm confident in the team behind it, and Seattle, in my opinion, is one of the most premier cities in our nation, and it needs an NHL.
I would say the world. I'm
in
biased.
The world, we're one of the biggest. We're one of the biggest tech hub. Microsoft, Google,
Amazon,
like
Costco,
Boeing,
the Pyramid
Starbucks.
Game.
We're the center of another
F5
industrial revolution, but it's the technical.
Tableau software.
Yeah, that's a deep cut.
That hit your programming nerves right there.
It did. My data viz.
I don't know what the fuck they do.
Data visualization.
They make tables.
They do.
French.
Anyway, so I think we deserve it. Switching gears now to the NBA.
Switching gears.
It is just now April. The Villanova Wildcats just defeated the Michigan Wolverines in the national championship. So thank God college basketball is over.
I was going to say that we're recording on the final. And that shows everyone how much of a fuck we give about college basketball.
So don't ever bring that up. Ever. Let's just say it doesn't make the final four fucks I give.
Yes, exactly. If it's March, I'm definitely not talking about it.
If it's March, I'm mad.
Ooh. Okay.
So, I love the NBA. This is coming from a guy who never played basketball.
Damn right.
I just love it. I
NBA
love the storylines and narratives. I love the stars. I love the highlights. I love learning basketball from the NBA. I love when
from Aaron.
And from Aaron. I love when it's playoffs and they start playing defense. And I am ready.
NBA playoffs are
the first round of the NBA playoffs is the best week in sports. I'm just gonna say it. It's all nationalized. It's all nationally televised games. It's all plus 500 teams, and they're all playing hard. And you've got teams you never get to see. Like, I am stoked to watch me some Milwaukee Bucks versus Washington Wizards. Giannis Antetokounmpo is a beast. That's just one example. So we're gonna try and keep this quick because we are gonna talk some big time NBA in the upcoming episodes. So
absolutely, we're leading up to it.
Aaron, let's recap our. You don't need to respond to this, but just to recap our.
Why would you ask me?
You are a Sonics fan, RIP, and a Lakers fan. So let's start off with the first part. What is your prediction for the playoffs? You don't have to necessarily say who's going to win. Just like
it's Golden State.
You think Golden State?
I don't want. It's just going to be Golden State.
So you think even though with Steph Curry maybe even missing the entire first round, coming back rusty. Off of two contiguous ankle injuries.
Yes. Okay. So Stephen Curry has always had ankle injuries since he was born. He came out with a cast on his ankle, but that's why he's so good with his hands, right? He's so good at shooting because he can't run anywhere. I mean, Steph Curry's Steph Curry. I'm not worried about him, and no one should be. He's 30, even though he looks 23. So everyone's freaking out. Like, I'm not worried about him not being good enough in the playoffs. Also, Klay Thompson also has that face of just like you're not good at basketball just looking at your face.
He had a broken thumb. So, dude has the fastest release in NBA history. Just saying. They look vulnerable.
So, okay, they look vulnerable.
The Vegas odds have them tied with
they've also been Rockets. In the finals how many times in the last 5 years?
The exact same amount of times as LeBron James. Actually, half the amount of times.
Okay. So, Steph Curry has in less time had nearly as many rings as LeBron James. Is that you saying that LeBron James and the Cavaliers are coming back to the finals?
I am saying that.
Okay.
They're making it out of the East.
So on the West Coast, I think that I just think it's Golden State because that's just what the nature of the West Coast has been for a number of years. And I think Houston obviously has a great chance at it. I think that's our Western Conference Finals.
I can see Houston getting upset. They're a Mike D'Antoni-led offense. As a Lakers fan, you've seen those Phoenix Suns series back in the day.
As a Lakers fan, I've seen those D'Antoni Lakers-led teams.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So
That was not.
no.
That was not a good team for him.
Yeah, but they also played very well this year,
They did.
and they also have James Harden.
They did, but they also had.
James Harden is the best guard in the NBA. In my overall,
I think he could be better than Dwayne Wade in this.
He's a video game guard.
It's crazy.
He can dribble, he can post, he can shoot. He's got a beard. He's fantastic.
He's also the actor of my favorite sports commercial ever. I will put the link in the description.
My favorite commercial ever is never mind.
Excellent, James.
No,
That's exactly where we want those shoes to go.
berries and cream. Berries and cream. I'm a little lad who likes berries and cream.
That's what James Harden sounds like when he plays basketball.
Yeah, he's a little lad who likes berries and baskets.
So I think my prediction is that yes, the Golden State will make it to the finals. I think that.
Cool.
I think
So
that
I'm not stupid.
I think that Houston will be upset before they make it to the Western Conference Finals.
And let's talk regionally. Blazers go out in the second round.
I think Blazers go out in the second round.
Yeah,
I think they beat. They're gonna be. They have already clinched the third seed, which is impressive in my opinion in the Western Conference.
yeah, definitely.
So that will probably.
Damian Lillard's a badass.
He's
man.
amazing.
I love him.
He really ascended his game this year.
I want to hug him.
Yeah.
If I could hug him, I would.
Which
you?
is why, yes, I would. Which is why I think they really need to make a big push this year. Just the iron is hot, Portland. You got to make a push 1 year. Who cares if it's a bad contract? Do it. So, but that's a talk for another time. I could see what I really, really want to have happen is I want Oklahoma City to fall to the 8th seed, and I want to watch Russell Westbrook just go insane against Golden State.
I want to see Oklahoma fall off the face of the planet.
You gotta like Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, I know. We drafted him.
Yeah, we did.
So I like him.
I want that to happen.
But I want to see that organization fall off the face of the planet.
You know who I think is going to Oh, crud.
Gosh darn.
I'm trying not to
golly
swear.
gee willikers.
So what I actually do want to have happen is I want New Orleans to fall to the 8th seed, and I want New Orleans to knock off Houston.
I can see that happening.
Anthony Davis is fucking amazing.
Yeah, I remember him in my grandpa's basement.
Anthony
That sounds
Davis?
really weird. But my grandpa had like a bi-level house, so like the basement was just mine. I had a TV, and I go like watch sports or watch Disney Channel or whatever the hell I did when I was 12. But I was watching the Lakers and the Sonics and watching the NBA playoffs and watching the McDonald's All-American games. And I remember watching Anthony Davis in the McDonald's All-American games. And I'm like, that kid is ugly and he's super good.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he's still ugly, and still super good. So that longevity shows that, he could beat the Houston.
Yeah, so if I'm the Blazers, I really want to avoid them. I want to play, if I am Portland, I want to avoid San Antonio because I just can't stand them.
You can't stand them, really? Like,
just
I respect them
Of
so
course
much.
I respect them, but I just feel like they'll beat me.
I can't
No matter
stand
what.
them.
No matter what, I think they'll beat my team. I think I want to play Minnesota. They're a young team if I'm Portland.
Yeah, no. You
to get through the first round.
Minnesota's the first round.
I want them to make the playoffs just because I feel bad for them. So anyway, that's what
You
I
don't
think.
feel bad for the Lakers?
So let's talk about the Lakers. It was a new team, young guys.
Dude, looking good.
Yeah, what do you think?
Really good.
Talk about it. Talk about Julius Randle.
So I'll start off with the departure of D'Angelo Russell, and that was kind of like, holy shit, that's supposed to be your guy. That's the guy that Kobe played with for a year and was teaching him, and he's now gone. I'm okay with it.
Thing from him out of Brooklyn.
Exactly. So that was a great decision. Case in point. Luke Walton, let's start there.
Like him.
Let's go to the next level. Let's start there. He is coaching the way you should fucking coach. It doesn't matter that you're 35 years old or whatever.
Oh, him.
Luke Walton?
Him.
Yeah, he's a champion.
Yeah.
Both as a player and as a coach with Golden State. And then he gets this opportunity. Great fit. Better than Brian Shaw. Better than, obviously, D'Antoni. He knows how to coach young players because he's basically a player. He's a few years removed. And then playing for a guy like Steve Kerr, who's... I could picture Steve Kerr still shooting threes. And that is the kind of coach he is. And he literally hands off the boards to his players when they're up. You know, and just like, you guys do it. That's a great teacher to learn from. That's how you lead. Lead by example, and then make your players lead by example right off the bat. And that is what Luke Walton's doing. He holds them accountable. He whispers in the ear all the time to Julius Randle, "You're the best one-on-one defender in this league." Whether he's right or wrong, that's the right thing to say to Julius Randle. Because you know how Julius Randle plays? Have you watched that man play? I'd be terrified.
I haven't watched him play that much. How is he on the perimeter? Does he guard the wing players?
He's got a 15. Yeah, he's.
No, I meant defensively.
Oh, defensively, he is.
He'll guard.
He normally doesn't
guard
have
guards.
to. He can on the switch. He normally doesn't have to because he's a power forward kind of player and plays a 5. It is going that way, and when we have, by we I mean the Lakers have Brook Lopez jumping out and shooting threes.
That's crazy.
Your whole dynamic changes on who you're matching up with, and with his agility, he can match up with anyone but a point guard pretty much. And he's so square and agile and strong. He's not even like strong like I can bench press a lot. He's strong and like I am just a tense ball of energy. Like it's hard to stop me. Hart, also a guard for the Lakers, is on the bench for sure, but he's that kind of physical being as well. Just like super dense and fast and agile and strong in the same way. The Lakers only have a few rookies, actually. Most of them were sophomores from other teams.
Yeah.
We actually got rid of, what's his face? Doesn't matter. Headband, older guy, loved him. Super fast for being old. I'm brain farting. Brewer. Yeah, Ronnie. Ronnie.
Oklahoma City.
Yeah, no, but I loved him too, but he was a good fit for the team. I think the Lakers just are literally, if this switch that happened around the All-Star break happened a month prior, they're in playoff contention for sure. The only problem with that is they're not going to be in the playoffs. What does that mean to your roster in the offseason? Does it get broken up? Because I think we keep the same roster, start in October, November. That's a team that will start winning actual games.
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram's a freak, man. He is turning into a more street baller Kevin Durant.
I knew you were going to say that, yeah. So you guys, I know that Magic Johnson wants free agents. What do you? If I were a fan of this team, I would want it to stay the course. I would get good role players.
I agree with you.
I think a great target is not this year, but next year, Klay Thompson. I think he would be
depending on how Klay Thompson is in another year.
Not the best player on the team. You make him the 3-and-D guy.
I hear you.
That guy is the best perimeter defender in the league.
I guess I'm too. And I guess it doesn't matter. Whatever.
Like I do not want Paul
sport.
George. If I'm the Lakers,
no. I want Paul George like I want Ronnie Brewer. In a couple of years and shore up some young guys. And here's how you play fundamental defense and pop out for a good 3 when you have the skill set to do it. The Lakers are in such a good momentum right now for their organization as a whole, roster to coach to the front office, which a couple of years ago, all in shambles.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy where they're at right now. And it's probably really inconvenient for what Magic Johnson wants to do because of how how well they've constructed a team that plays with each other. Lonzo Ball going from, long-haired and can't shoot anything for his life 6 months ago is now a baller. Oh, God damn it. I basically just rebranded or helped brand Big Baller. But his dad.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. You didn't give me a look, so I was like, did I miss something?
I don't like Lonzo Ball.
I hate Lonzo Ball.
No, you hate LeVar Ball.
LeVar Ball. I like Lonzo Ball. He's a good baller, man. He's a great point guard. And yeah, he's got a weird whatever he does with his elbow when he shoots, but he's been knocking him down, and I appreciate that. Yeah.
I appreciate when a basketball player makes shots.
I do. And you know what? That's what I pay for. And the teammates like him. So that says and no matter how I feel about a player on a team, if I support the team and the entire team likes one guy, then maybe I should like that one guy. So I wouldn't take him out for tofu.
Would you take him out for
bubble tea?
LeBron James right now? Would you rather have
right now?
Yeah, for
right
2
now?
years of LeBron.
Because if we had LeBron James right now on the April 3rd, somehow the Lakers would make the playoffs. So yes.
The NBA would just demand that LeBron
just gravity of wins would pull towards the Lakers, and the losses would be.
All right, let me get you a would you rather, and it's real quick. You can give me a 2-sentence explanation. Would you rather have the rest of Lonzo Ball's rookie contract or 2 years of LeBron right now, starting next year? Actually, sorry.
I would take 2 years of LeBron.
No,
I would. Because I think you could fill in or find on the market or in the draft.
I think you can win 2 championships with that.
And he can control the ball.
Yeah,
he can inbound the ball.
Yeah, that's why you can't. That's why I don't like the idea of in the real world them getting him, because how does he play with Lonzo? I don't see how that works. LeBron needs shooters. LeBron needs shooters so he can slash and then kick it out.
I mean, I think it's more difficult. Well, it's difficult for the development of young players to play with LeBron at this stage in LeBron's career, which is eye control.
Wrong for the sake of Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance.
Yeah, they're fucked, and
they've been playing well.
Nance is a fucking asshole, by the way. It was a Twitter thing, but a child and Larry Nance completely ignoring him, and there's no one around. He's not being swarmed. He's Larry fucking Nance Jr. He's not getting swarmed by people. Kid comes up with his jersey or whatever. Comes up, can I get an autograph? Ignores him like he's homeless.
Like in TMZ or at the game?
No, just like walking from practice, like available, walking freely.
I'm not gonna comment on that.
I don't give a shit. You get to that level in your life. Good, that's fantastic for you. And then when kids are saying, "Can I get a signature?" You're not being swarmed. I think that just tells me the character of the human being, and I'm glad he's not on the team. And I'm sure plenty of Lakers are assholes, plenty of Cavaliers, and plenty of every
one
sport are
snippet.
assholes.
You can't make.
But I saw it.
You basically said you don't like the person as a human being based on 1-2 second snippet of his life.
If you're just gonna disregard a kid. If it was me, I can understand that.
Dude, you don't think I could find videos of Kobe Bryant being assholes of fans?
Oh, Kobe Bryant's a dick. Love him as a basketball player.
Anyway, I don't care about him as a person. So, as long as he can play defense and dunk the ball.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And rebound. That's all I want Larry Nance to do. And all I want Jordan Clarkson to do is get 15 points off the bench. That's all I want.
I agree.
So,
can we exhale for a moment? Because I want to get in a new universe. We've been in the sports universe for about an hour.
Yeah, let's move across a universe.
All right, let's put our seatbelts on. Get on a new ship. We'll take us to what universe are we going to, Ian?
We're going to go to a certain galaxy. It's not near, one might say. It may be far.
Let's go into light speed into a galaxy far, far away, Ian. Far, far away. Star Wars! We're going to talk about Star Wars, guys!
That's not how it sounds.
That is exactly how it sounds. All right, so we are now in the universe of Star Wars. Ian, Disney took over the ownership of all rights, Lucasfilm Ltd. Still in existence. That is still a company, but the rights belong to Disney, who I am a huge fan of. Disney World probably 5 or 6 times in my life. Disneyland a couple times, oddly enough, being on the West Coast. Disney World's a place to go.
Yep. Star Wars Land 2019.
Oh, I actually cannot wait.
It's gonna be amazing.
And let's try to get you married by that time, so that could be your bachelor party.
Oh, I'm actually corresponding my when I get married, when our trust fund friend gets his money, so that I can have an all expensive paid trip with lots of friends to the scripted version of the vacation where you are like part of a story.
Can I be on the itty bitty party planning committee?
You can.
Okay. So yes, so Disney took over the rights of Star Wars. They bought Lucasfilm Ltd. Gotta say that because that's what it looks like on the big screen when they show it.
No more 20th Century Fox.
Yeah, no more 20th Century Fox. That's a big deal, or at least it was thought to be a big deal and concerning to a lot of Star Wars fans, such as yourself, favorite rapper of rappers. So how would you... Well, tell us, how do you feel about the transition of Lucasfilm from 20th Century Fox to Disney?
So, as a guy who is still reading all the books and just as obsessed with Star Wars now as I was before it was ever going to be said that new movies were going to be coming out, I am happy with the current direction and the work done thus far underneath Disney. One of my favorite things that I've liked that they have said is that all of the media, not just the films, is connected. And it's almost like, you're going to sell your soul. So if you're going to sell your soul to Disney and, now Star Wars is owned by this massive conglomerate and maybe some of the movies and some of the content is more catered to, the lowest common denominator fan. And I maybe want I want deep cuts and world building things. I'm willing to accept that it's not going to be, the same as some abstract book that I may have loved reading back in 2009 in order to get multi-million-dollar budget films. It's worth it to me. And so the people who are hating on The Last Jedi and all of that, it's worth it. They're putting out good films, good directors are making them.
So
good
what were you
actors.
worried about when it was announced that Disney was the now controller of all property?
I actually wrote an open letter, if you will, as a Facebook status, but basically I was just hoping that people who cared about the franchise would take over, and I think that's happened. Mm-hmm. This generation of filmmakers grew up on Star Wars. J.J. Abrams, who directed Episode 7, is now directing Episode 9, is a protege of Steven Spielberg, who's one of George Lucas's best friends, and I think he did a phenomenal job, and I think he treated it with the reverence that it deserves. Rian Johnson, the director of Episode 8, people are hating on The Last Jedi, which I disagree with, but that guy is a phenomenal filmmaker. He took risks, and I appreciate him for that, but he loved Star Wars, and you can see it when you watch The Last Jedi.
Obviously important. It's not a contract. The people that are going to watch this movie are not first-time viewers. They are by this movie.
Well, I
don't
necessarily agree. I don't necessarily agree. I think that
you get both, but the fan base is decades old.
If I had $1 for every little girl that I see at these premieres wearing Rey outfits, mm-hmm. I'd be a rich man. I love that, and I think they've done a great job.
Yeah,
at bringing.
Well, they didn't grow up with Leia. There's new people, but I'm saying, but you were saying,
as a fan and as a hardcore fan, you should be an adult about these types of realities. And I think that a lot of fans don't want to hear that. They want to see they want Supreme Leader Snoke to be some abstract character from some book they read in 1994, and yeah, that would have been freaking sweet. But then I would have been the only one cheering in the stand in the theater.
Yeah,
I think that you have to make. Here's what I would prefer. If you had either or. If you had a huge film with a bunch of deep cuts and a bunch of obscure references to books that only I would understand, that maybe had a more dense plot of Star Wars meaning and depth, or would I rather have a more simple plot but with fantastic acting, a consistent story, and
someone next to you cheering with you.
Yeah, and the midnight premieres, you can't beat them. I would choose that. So if I could jump into The Last Jedi just off of that point, things I loved about it, I think the new actors in the new series, or the new trilogy, are phenomenal. I think Adam Driver as Kylo Ren, he might be top 3 characters of all Star Wars for me. I love Kylo Ren, and I think the actor is amazing. If you think about that...
He's definitely got the look.
Yeah.
And obviously, acting skill.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he comes from, obviously, when you look at an actor and you're like, oh, they've only been in 3 things ever. You look at their IMDb, they've been doing shit for
you take Natalie
50 years.
Portman, and that didn't work. And she was huge.
Or Samuel L. Jackson. She did work, but the character, it didn't continue,
everyone
right?
hates on the prequels because the acting wasn't good. And you can blame that on George Lucas, but at the same time, if you look at Daisy Ridley, who plays Rey, or Adam Driver, who plays Kylo Ren, like those guys are putting it on the line. Mm-hmm. Like that.
Well, he came from Girls, is what I was
going
to bring up, which is funny to see that lily pond, and then the lily pond he's added on. And it's like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
He went from Girls on HBO to being Kylo fucking Ren.
I know. And like, what a cool, ballsy choice.
I mean, ballsy?
Because you can
what was he risking? Girls?
Yeah.
To be on
I meant from
Star Wars?
I meant from the perspective of the casting people.
Oh, totally. But that just shows that the casting it's a real job.
Absolutely.
And there's people that are good at their job and bad at their job. And I agree with you. I mean, I'm not into the universe as much as you are. Doesn't mean I don't love Star Wars. Love Star Wars. I'm more of Indiana Jones. Very, very, very related actually to Star Wars manufacturing when it comes to production and the creators of it. But I love Star Wars, and man, Adam Driver was fantastic. I huge Disney fan, was excited. I grew up going to Disney World and riding Star Tours, and
that's how I got into Star Wars actually.
And Star Tours,
yep, didn't know what Star Wars was until I got on the Star Tours.
Yeah. And that even is evolved. That's a whole Disney thing.
Yep.
And they've just done, I think, a wonderful job with the relationship between adopting Star Wars. They've already had a contractual agreement, apparently, for years and years and years and years. But now they just own it. And that was what the dividing point between real fan or new fan or whatever was going to happen, and you being someone from the OG Star Wars fan, you would say that A-OK, keep going Disney, right?
I would say I'm 28 years old, and I think that a lot of people are being a little childish about the outrage of things they don't like about Star Wars. They had this vision of what they wanted to see. And it's like that point I was making. Like, they had, like, this notion, like, even I thought that Rey was Luke Skywalker's daughter. Like, there was all these, like, oh, it's going to be this intrinsic detail based in these books that I read.
So you're watching the movie not knowing?
Oh, I walked into that. I was like, and I was having this conversation the day of. I'm like, I had all these points. I was like, oh, she's a good pilot. And Han stares at her in Force Awakens. And honestly, I still think that JJ actually was setting that up. And I literally think Rian Johnson was like, fuck you. I really do. That's his style of directing. Like, flip conventional narrative on its head. When they killed Snoke at the midnight premiere, if you follow like the YouTube community of Star Wars, there were so many theories about Snoke. It was like hashtag your Snoke theory sucks. People would be like shooting tweets.
And that was when Kylo and Rey were all in
they're
like,
in the
red
room.
or
They're in the red
room.
room.
Okay.
And he
cuts her in half.
Yeah, cuts
him in half.
Hits Andy Serkis in half. And that was just a big fuck you to all of these stupid ass theories. I was like, he's Mace Windu, he's Boba Fett, he's Jar Jar Binks. And I'm not kidding. These were like massively circulated Reddit threads and memes and YouTube videos. And it was when that happened, I was just like, bye, Felicia. Like, I don't need you. Like, I even said, I was like, I hope Snoke dies and I hope Kylo Ren becomes the main bad guy. Because that's more compelling.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, because Snoke is a one-dimensional bad guy. And everyone's like, oh, well, there's so much time they build him up. Like, not really, because The Force Awakens ends, and then there's no jump. So it's not like he was built up and there's this whole backstory. If you really think about it, the dude shows up, you don't know anything about him, and then he dies. Now, where can we see another character where you get no backstory, he shows up and he dies? Oh, the Emperor. Mm-hmm. He only shows up in Return of the Jedi. The only reason I know his name is Sheev Palpatine from Naboo is because I'm a massive fucking nerd. And I know his background. He's just the Emperor.
A layman for me is Snoke was the Emperor of
the new series.
This new series
and
versus the last
the whole
series.
point. That was the whole point why they did it. Maybe they'll take more risks and do more deep cuts for the fans later. There are some huge deep cuts in Rogue One. Like, I could get into that at some point. Rogue One's a fine film.
And we will, just not in this episode.
But I will mention this. While Rogue One, when I first saw it, there was like all the deep cuts and all like the cool nostalgia moments when I saw it in theaters the first time. I was like, this movie's the greatest thing. It hasn't aged well for me. The characters, which were secondary.
Which bleed into this, but
yeah, well, they're secondary to me. When I first saw it, they were secondary to all the visuals and the nostalgia and all my predictions. And as that movie's, it's been out, it came out in 2016.
And Rogue One was the first Disney installment, right?
No, Force Awakens was.
Rogue
One was the first standalone film that didn't have an episode.
Yeah, didn't have an episode.
To it.
Yep.
And the characters are just kind of whatever. Now when I watch that movie, I pretty much wait till the third act when it's that battle, which is awesome still, and the Darth Vader scene. Mm-hmm. But Force Awakens doesn't have the best action set pieces, but the characters I'm much more invested in. And so Last Jedi, I feel like really did a good job at building up on the strengths of The Force Awakens. So to my points that I would like to talk about with The Last Jedi,
like
things
what you liked about it.
What I liked about it was the dynamic between Rey and Kylo Ren. Mm-hmm. That Force connection they had where they would be talking to each other telepathically, I thought that was awesome. And just to have like a non-conventional narrative with the bad guy and the good guy, the good girl, was refreshing. It was
almost like, as a layman watching it, is Rey going to go to that side?
That'd be awesome.
It looked like it was very reasonable.
And you were guessing, and like all the
were you guessing?
Oh yeah.
So you were sitting on the edge of your proverbial seat.
I was.
It was like, holy shit, is Rey going to be on the dark side?
Especially after they had that battle, and he's sitting there like, and he's making his case. I'm like, what is going to happen?
Or when Snoke happened, it's like, oh, they're fucking on the same side. Shit.
Yeah.
What side are they on?
Yeah. And so when Rey in one of the telepathic scenes, she goes, "You're a monster. I know what Luke did to you." And there's those flashback scenes. Yep. And the first one was false.
He had to explain himself.
And he goes, "Did he tell you what happened?" And he says it in such like a defeated way.
Yeah.
And it was just humanizing for him. And so right there, not
great
a single,
acting, by the way.
Yeah, not a
Welcome back, Mark Hamill.
Oh God, he killed it. I got a whole bullet point for Luke Skywalker.
Okay.
So right there, I can guarantee you that not a single YouTuber or Star Wars pundit online was talking about how well Kylo Ren's humanity would come through in The Last Jedi. They were talking about whether or not who are the Knights of Ren, which is a throwaway line in The Force Awakens where they call Kylo Ren the Master of the Knights of Ren, and there are all these theories about where they are. They're the zombie Jedi and all that shit. And yeah, I was thinking about that stuff. It's cool, but like from a film, I'm more pleased that Kylo Ren was presented the way he was. Mm-hmm. So that is probably the one thing I like the most. There are a lot of scenes that play into the nostalgia of the original trilogy. There are just so many great emotional scenes in the film. There's so many good character moments. When I first saw it, one of the things I didn't like was Laura Dern's character from Jurassic Park. She's she's Admiral.
Yeah, I didn't like her either.
Well, the second time I watched it, so I really wanted Admiral Akbar, it's a trap, to be that character. I was like, he's more important to the story, like Star Wars.
Does that follow the line, the timeline?
No, he's there. He's in the movie.
I'm layman.
No, he died. He died at like a throwaway death. So when Kylo attacks the bridge and falls out, and then he even mentioned kill him. They basically kill him off screen. Like Admiral Akbar's dead, which is kind of fuck you, Rian Johnson, on that. Like there were a couple ways they could have killed him a little bit better.
I think there's been enough memes that they didn't.
And so I was like,
how many Laura Dern memes?
Basically, I should have said that should have been Akbar doing that whole role. But after rewatching it, I realized there was some exchanges between her and Oscar Isaac, Poe Dameron, and then her and Leia that you couldn't have done with a puppet. There were just good character moments that required an actor.
Yeah.
And so I appreciated that. And that was an adult decision by the director, not placating to a bunch of fucking fanboys.
Which, even when it's not technically a puppet, it's a human being dressed in green.
Yeah, the mask is a puppet.
Yeah. Well, when you're not in character acting, it's a different environment acting.
And think about all the things that people hated about the prequels. Those are all direct results of not having actors or not having real sets.
Yeah, like Episode 1.
Yeah.
Which is probably the most...
People hate Episode 2 the most. Which, fun fact, Episode 2...
Clone Wars?
Well, from what I understand I like it. I like all Star Wars.
You like them all.
But, fun fact about the Clone Wars, it is the most green screen movie in history. Most CGI. Yeah. Rewatch it. It does not age well. Like, they are walking through some, when they're in the cloning planet Camino, and Obi-Wan is looking at all the armies. It just looks, it's very 2002.
Kind of like the first or second Spider-Man.
Yeah. I actually love that movie. With
yeah.
Dr. Octopus.
Oh, yeah. But
Oh,
when you watch Spider-Man jumping around, you're like, God, that's
Yeah,
really
it
bad. That's really bad. It's like claymation. Anyway, Laura Dern, I thought was odd. And I'm not coming from back. I just watch her. I'm like, I'm a Jurassic Park fan too. And it's just like, oh, I didn't expect her. That's weird.
Yeah.
Um,
Not exactly dressed
she
for
did a good
war with her pink dress.
so what didn't you like?
Yeah, I just want to make a comment real quick about Star Wars. Like, what is with the promotional hierarchy of Star Wars? Like, Luke Skywalker can come in, I'm from a farm, and like, okay, we'll put you in a fighter pilot and send you in the most important battle. Or Finn from Force Awakens, like, I have some opinions about this top secret mission. Like, come on over. So the other day I was listening to a Star Wars podcast. Like, I think Finn should lead the Resistance. I'm like, where does it end? Like,
Well, I mean, they're all. It's a rebel.
so if I like
It's
go
a
up
rebel
to,
cause,
if I go over to work tomorrow and be like, I think I could lead Comcast. Like, I've got moxie.
Well, I mean, one, it's movie films. It's a script created for
suspension
entertainment.
of disbelief.
But also, I mean, it's a rebellion, right? There is no you create a structure when you have of what you have, but you kind of have to bring in talent if you think it's there, and you trust the people around you, and when you throw the Force in there, that'll fuck it all up because like, oh, I'm stronger with the Force than you are, and you don't know what you're talking about. And they're like, oh yeah, you're right, you're about the Force, and if he has the Force, then I can't do shit
Just because
about that.
this is my section, I'm just going to say that Finn doesn't have the Force, so that conversation doesn't really work. But and then also
he had intel though.
Jar Jar Binks.
Finn had intel.
He did. Jar Jar Binks was a fucking, what they call him. He was banished. He was in exile, and they let him lead the attack against the droids.
They wouldn't have been able to get to what was their place
battle?
where Jar Jar and his
the capital of
lived.
Naboo. Oh, the Gungan city.
Yeah, they wouldn't have been able to get there without him.
You don't know that. They were two Jedi.
Well,
Could have been. You could have just slowed him down.
Well, that's
you don't let Liam Neeson, Ewan McGregor.
Well, Liam Neeson does have a particular set of skills. He probably could have done it.
Okay, so let me talk about what I didn't like.
I like how they just did Jar Jar for a second. What was it, two episodes ago?
That was a. Wait, what?
When he was he's a senator.
Oh yeah. I thought it was
he's
like
a
2
senator
episodes
now.
ago. Oh yeah, so like 20 years.
Congratulations!
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, there you go. That plays right into my point. You're a fucking
Yeah.
senator now. You have no education.
It's just like real world.
Yeah. Where did he go to school?
Under the sea. You're a senator now.
God. All right, we'll have to do a Jar Jar section at some point.
No, never.
We could.
We'll do it in 20 episodes.
I own a Jar Jar toy. Like, you gotta give him something. So,
battery powered.
what did I not like about The Last Jedi? There was not an actual lightsaber duel. So there
there wasn't.
There was Kylo Ren fought a specter of Luke Skywalker, which when I saw that first time, so he comes out and he has
my God.
the blue lightsaber
When they're
with it just broke, and I'm like, and it was and it worked. The trick and like the switch and the twist. That was a good twist, and it like when I figured out the twist and he was like meditating back on the island, I was like, whoa! But the fact that it was so jarring kind of threw me out of the movie. I was like, why does he have that lightsaber? And it's not even like I'm a nerd and I noticed little things. Like that lightsaber just broke 3 scenes ago.
No,
I was like, everyone's gonna notice.
Dude,
that.
you're a nerd. A natural person. No,
that was like one of the most
No, hold on.
The plot is based around that lightsaber in Force Awakens. Laymen should understand if they're into it. Like not like people who see the movie in like January.
The point
like
is to question it. The point is to bring you to that moment of uncertainty, because everyone watches any movie, whether it be a comedy or a drama or a scary movie or whatever, a thriller, an action movie. You're always like, oh, I bet he dies next, or I bet this happens next, or whatever.
All right, fair enough.
You're already thinking ahead before the movie actually happens, and that was what's the director's name?
Rian Johnson.
Rian Johnson basically said, "Stop thinking ahead. Watch now."
Fair enough.
And that is what he was doing with right that.
I like that.
Right that.
I like that
It's
answer.
like, just watch the fucking movie I just made. Don't think about the movie I'm creating.
And after the fact, they point out like a bunch of visual cues that they do with him. So it's on the salt planet where when you move the top layer, the white salt, the red dirt comes up.
Yeah.
And there's like these scenes. And
Visually beautifully
Yes.
done, by
And
the
so-
way. What a wonderful scene.
And so like, even though it wasn't a lightsaber duel, there were like cool, like kind of samurai moments where they're like each preparing for like the charge, and they're like settling their feet, almost like they're winding up to bat.
Yep.
And there's a scene where Kylo twists his foot and it makes a streak. And then the next scene, Luke does it, and there's nothing. And so
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And like the effects of the wind on Kylo are way more than Luke. And so you notice after the fact, and that's the best thing about Star Wars is like you can keep going.
Good
deeper
job,
into-
Ryan.
Isn't that cool?
Ryan, good job.
Yeah, Ryan.
Good job, Ryan.
We support you.
Call us if you want to talk.
Just what's our
206-555.
what's our Lucasfilm contact?
We can't say that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's bad or good, but it makes us sound really badass.
Yeah, we have a Lucasfilm.
We have a Lucasfilm contact.
Well, as soon as he contacts us back, he's our Lucasfilm contact.
Yeah. Area code 415.
So, what did I even say I didn't like? There was no
Nothing.
lightsaber duel. No, there was no lightsaber duel. I didn't like Finn's plot. I didn't really care for it. I feel like Finn was my favorite character of The Force Awakens, and that plot I felt was very rushed. I felt like they could have done away with that whole plot and
Do you
then
think maybe
brought
he
Finn
was-
into the plot with Poe. I love the mutiny plot on the ship.
Yeah.
And I like it because it's like a very intimate plot. It's not like even The Force Awakens is an intimate plot, but like the prequels are all about armies and governments, and like it's not character driven, which I liked because
Force Awakens was definitely character driven.
Agreed.
And-
I'm talking about the prequels.
Yeah.
Like the separatists and the taxation of the Trade Federation, and like a lot of really old school fans get really butthurt by that for some reason. They're like, why are we talking about taxes? But I liked it. I was like, this is cool. Like I want to know
question?
about the politics.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Being a layman, and you've mentioned multiple times you even said the word purist, but other fans have an opinion about that episode shouldn't have this, or that prequels or sequels shouldn't have had that. Wouldn't you just be happy that more content is coming?
Well,
out
that's
there
my
on the
point
big
about
screen?
the Disney stuff.
It's like just get over it and have an opinion after the fact about how that was done, because you're a fan and that's allowed.
Agreed.
But be like, I'd rather that not happen ever. I'd
Yeah.
rather never see a movie. It's like
Yeah.
bullshit. You were the first person to see that fucking movie.
Yeah, and you will be the first one to see every movie.
Yeah.
Continually forever.
So why don't you suck my lightsaber and stop it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, FYI, if you suck a lightsaber, you'll die. Also, if you fuck a lightsaber, that was what I was going to say.
Oh, well, watch your language, and both end in the same way. Imminent death.
So,
Small chance of success.
so yeah, what I didn't like, I don't like Finn's storyline. I love Finn the character. It just felt like I just didn't like it. Like there was like they go to this casino planet and like it was way too fast. Like there wasn't like I like world building. There wasn't enough world building. Felt like the Benicio del Toro character was a little bit kind of wasted. And
Okay, hold on. I love Benicio del Toro.
I love him as an actor, but
You feel like the actor's character wasted?
yeah, I read the book. I read the Last Jedi book, and they give him like a way cooler backstory, and like you definitely get to see a little bit more from his perspective. But
I think he was the right actor for that character,
Sure.
but I think it was maybe written or directed, maybe. Tell me where I'm wrong, but Benicio del Toro is absolutely the best character or best actor for that character.
yeah,
But it just seemed off, and I don't disagree with you.
yeah, I feel like you spend more time with that character. You know, you give him a name.
Mhm.
You, yeah, like, you know, the Jabba the Hutt scene in Return of the Jedi, like that takes a lot of building up. Like each character is introduced slowly, and you understand, like, you know, what Jabba's palace is like, and like what happens to people when he doesn't like you. He drops you in the Rancor pit. He does that, and that scene is established before he drops another person in, and like you understand he's the mighty illustrious Jabba, and like 3PO becomes his sidekick or his, you know, major domo, and I just felt like that was much more established. You didn't know what Jabba's palace was. You just
Yeah.
knew that he had a beef with Han. This was just like, here's this place. They get arrested. If you're not paying attention, you don't even know why they were arrested. They were arrested because they parked on the beach. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Either.
Yeah, like you needed to read the book, and you shouldn't need to read a book. And so,
fuck reading.
Yeah,
that's why you're listening right now.
I audibled it. So
no, I hear you.
Yeah,
I hear you. And that sucks. That there was more to gain from a Benicio del Toro, who is a phenomenal actor.
Well, that's the thing about Star Wars is like people will literally stop what they're doing to be in a Star Wars movie, but that means that like
they're dumbing themselves down a little bit,
depending
on the character,
a little bit. So yeah,
or
but
the
there is a
direction of the
character
film because it's gonna be a Star Wars film.
Yes, but there is a character I don't think that was misused.
Was his name Buke Lightwalker?
His name was Steven Jackson.
Steven Jackson
of the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, no, he was really good in Star Wars.
Yes.
No, Luke motherfucking Skywalker.
So
I think, and I know you're gonna explode. So I'm gonna say what I want to say now. And this is not bad. We're gonna explode happy thoughts. These are happy thoughts. Is that Mark Hamill? Welcome the fuck back to Star Wars because one, killed it. Especially knowing now what you told me about rewatch it. Rewatch the wind. Rewatch the sand. Rewatch the movements and all that stuff. It's like, oh my God, that was totally planned and they knew with it. Obviously, good job, Brian. But, man, Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker reprising the role. If that's not a bridge between the previous... trilogy.
The Tridge.
The OG Tridge. Like, seriously, though, if that's not a bridge, I don't know what is. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm just going to say a couple of things just to respond to what you just said. So, a couple of other things to notice about when you rewatch the movie. So, he's not really there. So, he's not there. You can't touch him. So, that scene with Leia, after reading the book and listening to the commentary, Leia knows the minute he goes and kisses her on the forehead because he actually doesn't do it. Watch her facial expressions, and he is basically the kind of double.
That's
meaning.
really interesting. I did not think about that.
Yeah, and he's basically the conversation they're all having is pretty. It's got layered meaning, and if you want to talk about character moments, when he's saying no one's really gone, and I was crying, it's so good, and those guys Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill, they don't get enough credit. They're fantastic actors and actresses. R.I.P. Carrie Fisher, by the way, and they were typecast as Leia and Luke. Mm-hmm. Which is not the worst thing in the world to be typecasted as. I'm sure some of the collecting some
most memorable characters of any film of all time.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind being Daniel Radcliffe, collecting the Harry Potter money.
No, seriously.
That scene is so good. Especially if you rewatch the scene in Return of the Jedi where they're talking on the Ewok bridge before Luke goes to face Vader, and Luke, he just looks like Luke. It's so good. And then he's like, no one's ever really gone. And he gives the dice to Leia. It's so good. And then he's talking about how he's going to go face Kylo, but he can't save him. Speaking of typical movie tropes being turned on their head, that if there were any other movie or a less ballsy director, don't worry, I'll save you, blah, blah, blah. Be some, predictable thing. To your point of, you could predict what's going to happen, but you couldn't. And it was so cool. So that moment right there, oh, it was so good. And just his arc. If you want to talk about something that was developed, Luke Skywalker's arc in that whole movie is fully fleshed out. You get his motivation.
Yep.
You think you understand at the beginning, and then through the whole thing with the changing flashbacks and with the help of the Rey and Kylo back and forth is so well laid out.
Dude, I was angry at Luke.
Yeah.
I was angry at Luke.
I was like, you're our hero. How can you be like this?
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it, Luke. No, seriously. He's so we've already established a relationship with Ren.
It's not only was he our hero
Rey,
growing up,
Rey.
but then for the 2 years with that last scene of Force Awakens, you expect something amazing. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Luke's just, you found me. Let's fly together back to the ship.
And of all the predictions that were happening about Luke, you wanted Luke to be Iron Man. All the people who were hating on Luke, you wanted him to be Iron Man. You wanted some giant CGI, like spectacle of him like cutting the dick off of Satan and then throwing it into a black hole and then watching like a million Americans.
He wasn't there the entire time.
Yeah. So think about this.
Which makes him such a master of the fucking Force, by the way.
Oh my god,
like,
that's
right?
such a cool scene where
He bent the entire fucking galaxy to think that he was fucking
and
there.
Kylo even says to Rey the first time they're Force connected, so to establish this new power, Kylo's like, you can't do this. The effort alone would kill you. Mm-hmm. And Luke, who, according to Rey, had cut himself off from the Force an hour earlier in the film, hadn't used the Force in years, apparently.
It's like it's like he turned his mic off.
Yeah,
that's all he really did.
That's why he didn't notice Rey approaching him in the end of Force Awakens. So that's just amazing right there. That's more technically, technically, if you study the Force like I do, that's harder than chopping the dick off of Satan. So I think that the biggest beef that people have is he died. You can't kill Luke Skywalker. I don't understand that logic. But also they wanted him to like have some crazy duel and do some amazing things. So think about Luke Skywalker. Let's just think about him for a second. Like there's this preconceived notion of what people wanted from him. Let's see. So Luke was a guy that we've known for 40 minutes in his 20s, and we think we know this guy. We've watched him in 3 films. He was 19. According to the character, was 19, 23, and 25 in those movies.
Okay.
And we've known him for, 35 minutes in each of those films, if you cut only his scenes. And so we think we know this guy. So let's see what happens. The first one, he's a whiny bitch who gets lucky. And Han saves him. And he uses a little bit of the Force and shoots a missile into a hole. Second one, he almost dies by some snow. Then he flies away. Flies away.
There wasn't like a big monster that had anything to do with
He flies away. He flies to Dagobah, gets one-on-one lessons with basically Stephen Hawking. It's like, no, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to go fight Vader. He's like, no, don't do it. Don't. He's like, no, I'm going to do it. And what happens? He gets his hand chopped off and gets a big-ass thought bomb dropped on him. Like, I'm your father, Luke. No! Jumps off. Almost dies. Only reason is because he, live tweets his sister, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta go back and save him." So
you gotta kiss my sister again.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably the only reason why. And so that happens, and then what happens in the third movie? He goes to confront his father, and the reason that he's a hero is not because of some badass thing he did. He stops fighting. He lays down his lightsaber and says, "You failed, Your Highness. I am a Jedi like my father before me." And what happens? He gets freaking lit up by the Emperor. And the only reason he lives is because Darth Vader saves him. Mm-hmm. So this is the Luke Skywalker that we want to come through and, Bruce Lee it. So
I get what you're saying.
So
this is not a character that's going to come.
They wanted a shallow aesthetic character. They wanted him to do things as opposed to getting to actually see Luke Skywalker for who he is. So he does. So it's credit to Rian Johnson. Takes a trope and flips it on its head, but also adds a human element, just like Rey and Kylo. So Rey, Kylo, and Luke, those 3 characters are done flawlessly in The Last Jedi. Luke Skywalker does what you'd think he would have done. Starts a new Jedi Order. It goes horribly through situations out of his control. And in a moment of weakness, he ignites his lightsaber. And then immediately, according to the factual flashback, if you will, he says, "I was very ashamed, but Ben saw me do it, so he attacked me." Mm-hmm. And then Ben apparently has all this darkness in him already, which I'm sure will be explored in books or movies or something.
And Ben is Kylo.
Yes, Ben
For
Solo.
all
is
the
Kylo.
other layman's out there.
So what does Luke
Ben
do?
Solo is his name.
Yes, exactly. And so what does Luke do? He realizes, this is all for naught. I should go. The best thing I can do for the galaxy, the most selfless thing I can do for the galaxy is go and die. Because this knowledge needs to die with me. And how can you not feel for the guy? If you can suspend disbelief for a moment and believe that the Force is a thing, and he saw in this guy's future, he saw factual things. It's like the paradox. Like, would you kill baby Hitler?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, would you? And then be really hard. And then all of a sudden, if you fast forward to 1944, like, oh man, I should have killed baby Hitler.
Yeah.
So with him, coming around and then doing what he did to he invests back in the cause. He has that interface with Leia. He gives her the dice and has that conversation, and then faces off Kylo Ren to give them the chance to escape. I just think that was a really, really great scene, and he'll be back in episode 9 as a Force ghost. We haven't seen the last Luke Skywalker.
Well, death doesn't mean anything in Star Wars.
Yeah. Speaking, that line, "No one's ever really gone." Holy shit.
Yeah.
That line was so good. And, God, it's so good. And then everyone gets up and he's walking out and everyone's staring at him and it's just like, everyone's just like awestruck and blown away. And the whole point is he's creating the legend of Luke Skywalker, which is why that scene that ends the film, which
resonates.
No other director would have done with the little kids. Do you remember that scene?
Yeah.
Like, and he's telling the story of Luke Skywalker. Don't tell me how that story got out already, but that was really cool, and that's the point. Like, Rey believed in this legend of Luke Skywalker, and then the point is, and we believed it as the audience, and Luke was basically like, "No, it's not a real thing," and we were all like, "What the fuck?" And that's a cynical but kind of realistic. We idolize heroes, and most people aren't the way that we perceive them to be in legend.
Not at all.
And so
100%.
you take.
I don't even know you very much, even though I know you very, 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 very well.
And so he takes that and he's like, "Hey, here's some realism. Like, let's this isn't your grandma's Star Wars." And like, things don't go
Your
up.
grandma.
My
Grandpa did not listen to or watch Star Wars. I didn't listen to Star Wars on the radio. My wife did. Your grandmother.
I'm just wondering, like, what now? Episode 9, your grandma's Star Wars. But so it's not your. It's
Gertrude in Tatooine.
It's just very cool. Like, just adding some realism. Like, shit doesn't always work out, and I thought that was very cool. But still, at the same time, like, it takes that cynicism and throws it in your face and says, "Fuck you" to your notion of what Luke Skywalker was. But then he comes around because he is a hero, but he's a hero. Like, kind of like Batman in the Dark Knight, where it's like he's not like Batman in like the cartoons or Batman. He's
like always loved, always like you're the best,
impervious.
Yeah, no,
like
you have problems.
Bang.
You have bad problems you got to deal with. Yeah, no, I agree.
Based
with that.
in realism, and so I felt I really appreciated that. So I was quite pleased with this Luke Skywalker character.
So you're pretty happy with Disney then, huh?
I am. I wish that they would
come out with more movies.
No, I wish they would break away from like this like 15-year time span that they really are focusing on right now. Like, they have the new movies that are coming out, but then all the comics and the books and the video games are all between episodes 3 and 4. And I want them to do another Knights of the Republic, like, badly.
Oh my god. So I also wanted to say one thing, Ian, is that while you were talking about that, all of Star Wars, there's a huge correlation between the Star Wars, not lineage, not the way things happen, but there's the
canon. It's the canon.
Not even the canon. The Matrix, Neo.
Oh yeah.
Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Is Neo.
Well, it's Joseph Campbell. It's the hero's journey. It's
the hero's journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
but not so much in the new series. Ryan Johnson's like, hero's journey.
No.
Boom. Yeah.
But what I'm thinking is
refusing the call to action.
Can Disney buy Matrix?
Can
you buy that?
I don't ever want cross-media crossing with Star Wars.
No, I don't want that to cross-pollinate itself. I want more
Oswalt
Matrix.
Parks and Rec thing. Like, no way. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, I don't know. But it just popped in my head that Neo is Luke Skywalker.
Oh, 1,000%. For sure.
And I would love a continuation. Just like, I want Star Wars to be kind of like 007 James Bond.
In what way?
That it'll never die.
Yeah, no, I agree.
If it's done correctly.
Before Disney ever bought Star Wars, a friend of mine once brought this up. Star Wars has kind of transcended just like a single story or a franchise. It's become, I would like it to have the kind of same breadth as like the whole concept of a Western, for example. So you take a Western, and no one says like,
a Western.
no one just, yes, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make, no one just says, I'm making a Western movie. It's like, I'm going to make a heist Western movie. I'm going to make a war Western movie. What if it was like, I want to make a gangster Star Wars movie, and it's on some backwater planet, and Luke Skywalker's not in it. it's just in the Star Wars universe. You might see TIE fighters, you might see stormtroopers, but it's all new characters.
Yeah.
Why not? And like you won't ruin Luke Skywalker. It would just be, and if it failed,
It's just a universe.
yeah. It's just a universe.
Let's just live in universes, everyone.
Yes.
We're doing our episode in that way. Let's just live in universes.
What if there was a James Bond, like he was a fucking amazing Republic agent, and he infiltrated? Actually, probably they're separatists.
Well, that sounds very cross-pollination of universes anyway.
Are
Are you saying a version of a James Bond?
Are you saying a competent agent with a British accent can't be in Star Wars?
Touche,
Daniel
which
Craig,
is French.
Actually, Daniel Craig is in The Force Awakens, so let's not forget that.
That's true.
He gets
It's a
super
plan.
mind controlled by Rey.
All right, since we're talking about universes real quick, let's bring it on back. This is fresh. This is like if you listen to Star Talk, Cosmic Queries, we don't know what we're going to come up with. This is why we're TBD. So we like sports. Ian, we also like Star Wars.
And just and nerd pop culture. We're going to talk about all sorts of things.
Yeah, so this episode was Star Wars because pretty much everyone likes Star Wars, so we're going to talk about that. So across the universe real quick, this is something we're going to end every possible episode with, that we can come with some fun ideas. And as we gain some traction, we are going to get your feedback on what would be a good across the universe kind of subject. And for this one, since we have no traction and we're going to hit the ground running, who do you want to be? You want to be Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker? Go.
Darth.
Okay, you're Darth, I'm Luke. Okay, so then since you got to pick that, I'm going to pick the league that, in this fantasy league that Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker are signing up on Yahoo with. I'm going to choose the National Basketball Association. We're going to do a fantasy team real quick. Your top 5, going from point guard to center.
Am I doing actual NBA players?
We're doing all time.
NBA players.
NBA players all time. You were Darth Vader. Who would Darth Vader choose on his all-time NBA team? Go.
Well, Darth Vader, so he obviously likes power, but Darth Vader obviously is also Anakin Skywalker. And one thing we know about Anakin is that he couldn't control his emotions. So I want a guy who has a
Dennis
screw
Rodman's
loose.
on your team.
He has a screw loose. That guy is going to go completely insane to get the job done.
Start
You
at point
cannot
guard.
ever cross this man. So if I'm just going off of what Darth Vader would choose, and I'm not just using my Ian Turner ranking of basketball.
Yeah, it's got to be Darth Vader.
Oh no. Oh yes, it's Darth Vader.
Across the universe.
I am picking with the deadly never cross me, and you're gonna hate me for this, Kobe Bryant at shooting guard. The Mamba mentality and the Dark Lord of the Sith would.
I don't
together.
disagree. I don't disagree one bit.
I was like 5 seconds away from saying Russell Westbrook, but then I looked at you and I decided to say Kobe.
Dick. All right, so you still have 4 other players.
I do. It's a draft. You go now.
Oh, we're actually okay. So your first pick of the across the universe draft.
You can't
is
take Michael
Kobe
Jordan.
Bryant. Why can't I? Because you're sitting over there saying don't take Michael. Now I'm taking Michael Jordan.
You can't. You're Luke Skywalker. Why is Luke Skywalker taking Michael Jordan?
Because
Don't retcon your reason with Luke Skywalker.
All right, can I explain myself?
You can't say Michael Jordan.
Can I explain myself?
Sure.
Okay. He's stuck with the same side for pretty much his entire career. Did step aside for a while.
Ooh.
And then said, "You know what? I'm coming right back to help you." Not so much the Chicago Bulls, but the NBA as a whole. And also, he was sick and still overcame it. He also had a force on one young, unfortunate man that he dropped a buzzer-beating shot on that the call wasn't called. That's because the force was too great by Michael Jordan with the push-off that we all know about. I'm drafting Michael Jordan. I'm the number 1 pick on Luke Skywalker's team. That's a pretty good explanation.
Oh, man, that was good. I'm now imagining Luke trying to play baseball.
Wow.
You know, I was thinking about taking Michael and trying to justify it with some Darth Vader adjectives, but that's fine. So, what do I have left? I have a center. I have
You have
forward.
every other,
Okay.
you have point guard. You have power forward, small forward, and center.
Okay, and I have Kobe Bryant, who is my shooting guard. So, one thing that Darth Vader obviously remembers fondly is pod racing. As young Annie. Whippy! So wizard! So one thing Anakin loved was pod racing, and
Okay.
as the great Liam Neeson once said, it takes Jedi reflexes for a human to man pods. Now, one person that had a handle like no other is someone that we all can agree is one of the greats. And if I have my man Kobe Bryant, I need someone who can get him the ball. And I'm going to keep it in Lakers Nation, and I'm going to take Magic Johnson
Harsh. All right.
as my point guard.
Really on the dark side.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so, but if
I think you're just taking Magic Johnson because he's a good player. How is he related to the dark side? Because he's a very nice guy.
Darth Vader, the reason that Darth Vader is such a compelling character is because he is a conflicted character. If you will remember, his arc ends on the light side. Darth Vader goes into his past, which
This
makes
is
him
true.
strong.
So as his dying breath, he said, Magic Johnson, join my team. All right, so you got Magic. That's fine. Shit.
So my backcourt is set.
Yes, it is. So I'm Luke, an intellectual that, as you stated earlier in this episode, wasn't very intellectual, but he learned.
As a young man.
And actually, not only did he learn, he burnt the books of everything he learned.
He actually didn't.
I know. But the act of teaching. He already knew all that shit, right? You know who also is a scholar? And one of the best centers of all time? That would be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He will be joining my light side of the force.
Not bad. Okay. Oh, man. This is really hard. Okay, so my Darth Vader, he has the ability to make others choke, as we all know. And I really don't know.
Dwight Howard.
So I can't say LeBron James because he is not the most clutch guy. But if there is ever a man who is going to lay it down in the clutch, I'm going to pull an
Robert
audible.
Horry.
I am going to pick a player in a moment in time. I'm not going to take him for his whole career, and I'm going to switch things up. Someone who has ice in his veins, who will never choke. I'm going to take, and I'm going to switch things up. I'm going to pull a 1981 NBA Finals, but Magic at the 5 with the sky hook for the win. But I'm also going to take a player in their finals prime. I'm going to take, at the point, Kyrie Irving. The point guard for the Cleveland Cavaliers against the greatest regular season team of all time. Laying that 3 in Game 7 in Steph Curry's face. Ice in his veins.
Okay, I'm going to let you have
LeBron
that.
James his 3rd ring.
Okay, so who do I have? I have definitely Michael. Definitely Kareem. I am going to probably... What would Luke do? You know what? If we're going to go with times, I'm going to go with Barbosa.
The guy from the Warriors?
No. Well, from the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, back in those days.
Say like 2009 kind of.
All right, make your case.
Leandro Barbosa. Because that's why I think to compliment Michael Jordan, who can play a small forward if he wants to because he can beat everybody. Mm-hmm. He needs someone that is just a TIE fighter. An X-Wing all over the place. And that is Leandro Barbosa. I think he could score the ball and run circles around every single person. If we're going to go with time frame, I'm going to say 2009 Leandro Barbosa.
Okay, not bad. I like that. So I'm going to go back to...
I'm out of wine.
I'm going to go back to just all career. I'm going to bring it to, if we think about Darth Vader... Let's think about Rogue One, for example. The reason that a lot of people went and saw Rogue One is because they threw Darth Vader into the marketing. He was in that movie for probably, 5 minutes? Mm-hmm. And, he's what would you call a ticket draw. I'm also going to talk to a guy who has massive leadership intangibles and is a ferocious man. At the 4, I'm going to have Kevin Garnett.
Ouch. Nice. Like it a lot. You got Kevin Garnett. Okay, and you weren't going for a time.
I'll go with Defensive Player of the Year. Boston Celtics, Kevin Garnett.
That's fine, because you could have taken 8 years out of his Timberwolves years and been badass. All right, so no, that's a good pick. That's In the Shadows, very dark of you, and I like him. God damn. Well, all right. Well, shit. So who's
lay out
who's
your
my? I'm gonna look for my Han Solo.
Lay out your team.
I'm gonna lay. So I have Leandro Barbosa is just kind of like woohoo, and then I have Michael Jordan and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And that's my 5.
You should lay out a team though. Like you should. So you have a center, you have a shooting guard, you have a point guard. So you've got your forwards.
I don't have a point guard. Leandro.
He's a small guy.
He could play point guard, but I wouldn't.
You can put Michael at the point.
Yeah, you can put Michael at point. He can play either. Well, let's just say I have 2 shooting guards, but I'm gonna take away I will make that decision with this pick right now.
Okay.
Cerebral. Also, caring. Gives a shit. Not a bad guy. Very light side. I'm gonna go with.
Wait, can I guess? Is he playing right now?
No.
Go. I don't know.
All right. I'm gonna go with John Stockton.
Nice.
I was gonna go with
As a
Steve
Han?
Nash when I started. But then I remembered I'm a Laker fan, and that was
He
just
didn't do
kind of a
very good.
bummer.
It wasn't really his fault.
Kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
But then we were just talking about Luke Skywalker not being a bummer in the latest episode of
Congratulations
Star
to
Wars.
Steve, by the way, Hall of Fame inductee this year.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Steve. You much deserve that shit. You are a badass player. But I was thinking just like as a Laker fan, it wasn't as Luke Skywalker-y as I would like that to be when the Dream Team came out for Lakers and a decade ago, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he comes back on he comes on the team.
A decade ago. It's crazy.
Well, that wasn't technically a decade ago, but there's been multiple instances as being a Laker fan where you have like this enigmatic team, an all-star team, and then it poops.
Yeah.
And then we had Powell and Kobe working really well together, and that worked. And then it's like, let's try it again, and we got Steve Nash. So anyway, Steve Nash off the books. I'm going to go with John Stockton because he made sure the people that could scored before he did.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So he would facilitate Leandro Barbosa and whatever maneuvers Leandro Barbosa was doing. However, if Michael Jordan wanted the fucking ball, you know who's going to get him the ball?
Yep.
If he didn't already have it, it'd be John Stockton.
Yeah.
So I have John Stockton.
Yeah. Okay, so I was going to, before I lay out my reasoning, I'm just going to say I was going to pick Kevin Durant for this pick, but I wanted to do somebody a little bit more role player just to kind of even out the teams. So my reasoning for this pick is Darth Vader. You were thinking about sidekicks. So who does Darth Vader have? He has the.
So who do you have, by the way, real quick?
Okay, so I have at the 1, I have Kyrie Irving.
Okay.
At the 2, I've got Kobe Bryant.
Damn
at
right.
At the 5, I have Magic Johnson. At the 4, I have Kevin Garnett. So I need a small forward.
You have Magic Johnson playing center?
I couldn't think of anything at the moment, so I decided to, when Kareem went out in the finals, Magic played center and then won the finals, and then I put in Kyrie at the point. That's my reasoning.
Okay.
He
We're
won the game.
going to go with it.
Won the game on
This
a
isn't our last episode,
Won the
so
game
we can
on a
go
skyhook,
over this.
people.
You know, you're
He
people.
won the NBA Finals.
You listening, people? No, I don't disagree with you. I don't. Okay.
As a
Go.
rookie.
Go ahead. You only got 2 other players.
I have one other player. Kobe, Kyrie, Kevin, Magic.
Okay.
So this man reminds me of a sidekick of Darth Vader. So I don't have a Han Solo. I don't have a Princess Leia. I have a man who will get the job done, but only if the price is right. For every Darth Vader, you have a Boba Fett. You have a bounty hunter, a mercenary. His loyalties only go where your pocketbook leads. Pocketbook leads. So I'm looking for a player who got the job done, but loyalty, not his thing. I'm looking for a guy. That's why I was thinking Kevin Durant, but I need a guy at the 3. Fuck, this guy's a power forward. That I'm thinking. I'm gonna go with it anyway. I'm gonna have 2 power forwards. This man was one of the most dominant players at his prime. He is recently out of the league, and
You're taking my player. I'm going to fucking pee on you.
It's probably not. This is 2009's
Nope.
Amari Stoudemire.
Okay, cute. I'll take it.
Okay, that's my team.
That's really cute because he's probably going to get injured in the game that we're going to be playing against each other.
I just figured it
And
would be
you know-
fair to take Kevin Durant.
Doesn't get injured, and he's a friend of everybody.
Even some of the players on his team that maybe are kind of assholes, but he's still kind of a friend with them. But no matter who joins the team, he's always on, kind of like a Chewbacca, if you will.
Chewbacca?
Solid, always around.
Brian Scalabrine.
Nope. I'm going to go with a Tim Duncan.
Ooh.
Tim Duncan at my power forward.
Ooh.
He is
I'll
my
take Kevin
Chewbacca.
Garnett over Tim Duncan, but okay. Ooh.
Well, you already took Kevin Garnett.
No, I know. I'm just saying if you're comparing power forwards all time.
Yeah.
That's a good.
No, I'm going to go with Tim Duncan because
that's a Luke Skywalker pick.
it's totally because he's a nice guy.
Yep.
And you know what? He loves everybody. He really does. No matter what team, but he always stays on the same team, which is the Millennium Falcon.
Yep.
He always stays on that ship, no matter what happens.
That was good. That was
so
good.
I'm going to go with that, and I'm pretty sure my team wins.
Well, let's see.
We can leave that up to all of you. List your team real quick. Go.
At the one, I've got
the Ian Vader team.
The Ian Vader team starts with Kyrie Irving at the point, Kobe Bryant at the 2, Amari Stoudemire and Kevin Garnett at the forwards. I could have taken Kevin Durant, but I decided to be nice.
Yeah.
Because you took Leonardo Barbosa because you were playing fair. And then my 5 is Magic Johnson.
Okay, and then we got the Luke Skywalker team with John Stockton.
At the 1.
Michael Jordan and or Leandro Barbosa, depending on the tempo of the game.
Then where does Leandro Barbosa play? It's not like
he plays small forward at times. Depending, he played on a very fast moving Phoenix team with Mike D'Antoni. Very fast paced team.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah, okay. So then I also have Tim Duncan there, and
he was 6'3".
Yeah.
195 pounds. This guy did not play small forward.
On a fast-moving team, when everyone's at about 6'8" or under, there were times when he would play that position, yes. He wouldn't start at that, no, and he wasn't labeled at it. But watching the Pacific Division, yes, it occurred.
All right, I'll take your word for it. Okay.
That's because Michael... I drafted my team the way I want to draft my team. He's got the force. He's got the force, my friend. He could do whatever he wants. I mean, you had a point guard playing 5, man.
That actually happened in real life.
And then you know what also happened in real life? Star Wars. So all of this across the universe. So I have John Stockton, Leandro Barbosa. I have Michael the Jordan, Tim the Duncan, and Kareem the Abdul-Jabbar. And I think my team wins. But if you guys want to go Team Ian Vader or Team Aaron Skywalker, hashtag it, and then
let us know.
And then at the Real TBD Podcast. Everyone, this has been our very first episode. Again, my name is Aaron.
And my name is Ian.
Next episode, we don't know what we're going to talk about. It's definitely going to be sports. Definitely going to be nerddom. Definitely going to be to be determined. So if you liked this, please subscribe. Please rate it. And, hey, go on Twitter and say what you liked or disliked about it. So we're going to do what we can to keep putting good content out for you. It doesn't cost us anything other than time. So we'll give that to you. Have a good day, everybody. Or a night.
Fuck you.
Bye-bye. T.
Hi.
P. Determined.
Yeah.